Hi guys, Everything NFL here, and today I am back with a brand new video going over about the comeback of Ryan Tannehill and a story video going over from his college days in Texas A&M to all the way to where he is today as the starting quarterback and the franchise quarterback for the Tennessee Titans. And quickly before we get into the video, I want to thank you guys for all the support recently on the channel. It's been amazing. Make sure we go down and subscribe. We're trying to hit 40 subscribers. We're at 37 now. Almost at 40, so I hope you guys can take the time out of your day and go down and subscribe, and also like the video and share all your friends as well, because if you've got friends who like American football, I'm sure they'll like this channel too. So make sure to share it with your friends, and no more messing about. Let's get right into it. After coming out of Texas A&M in 2012, the expectations were sky high for Ryan Tannehill, but he had a very interesting career path. So let's go over from where he was drafted to where he is now. He originally played as a wide receiver at Texas A&M before making the switch to quarterback, and the rest is history really, if you want to call it that. He ended up declaring for the 2012 NFL draft and was expected to be a top 10 to 15 pick in the class, but he ended up being selected 8th overall to the Miami Dolphins to be their new franchise quarterback and to hopefully lead the Dolphins out of years and years of just being a mediocre franchise. In 2012, when he was named as the starting quarterback for week 1 and had a bad start where he didn't throw for a touchdown and threw 3 interceptions in his first game against the Houston Texans, but he would finish the season with an interesting stat line with 3,294 passing yards, 12 touchdowns and 13 interceptions. A poor rookie year, but he would undoubtedly improve on that going forward, and the Dolphins finished at a poor 7-9 record. In 2013, Tannehill would show significant signs of improvement and would come out this season with a way better stat line for a starting quarterback. He threw for 3,913 passing yards, 24 touchdowns to 17 interceptions, and the Dolphins finished at an improved 8-8 record. And in 2014, he had the best year of his career so far until later on in the video, which you guys have found out, and he started to show his true potential as a full-time starting quarterback for the Dolphins. He ended up throwing for 4,045 passing yards, 27 touchdowns to 12 picks. A better season, what many people believed would be his breakout season, and would begin to establish himself as a top starter in the National Football League. And in 2015, this would be the final year of his career so far that he would play all 16 games. He threw for 4,208 passing yards, 24 touchdowns to 12 interceptions. A respectable year, but Tannehill was beginning to be known as an above-average starter for the Dolphins, and it didn't look like he was going to get any better than he already was. And in 2016, it was the beginning of a bad run for Tannehill, a run of years where he was unfortunately affected by injury. He missed 3 games in 2016, and he still posted a respectable stat line of 2,995 passing yards, 19 touchdowns to 12 interceptions. A year he was heavily affected by injuries, but he was still posting average numbers when he played, and it kind of became a bit of a pattern. Injuries became a big part of Ryan Tannehill's career. And now let's move on to 2017. In 2017, in practice, before the season even started, he unfortunately suffered a torn anterior cruciate ligament in practice and missed the entire 2017 season. And Miami signed recently retired quarterback Jay Cutler to come out of retirement and be his replacement for the year. Many feared Tannehill would not be able to play at a high level again, but I was still optimistic. I think Tannehill had potential, but I was a bit later on. I became a fan in the 2018 season, so I was a little bit later on. I was still optimistic for Tannehill. I still believe he had a lot of potential to give, but 2018 would be his final year as a Miami Dolphin. As you can see, his jersey is right there up on the wall. That was the first NFL jersey I ever got. 2018 would be his final year as a Dolphin, and he would only play 11 games due to injury, and backup quarterback, and a terrible quarterback if you don't mind me saying, Brock Osweiler, would play the rest of the season. And he wasn't good when he played at all. Brock Osweiler was terrible, and he is terrible. And he's another player that was overpaid stupidly when the Texans gave him a huge deal. And he played all right for Denver, but when the Texans gave him a huge deal, he was absolutely terrible. And he was terrible for the Dolphins, even though he was a backup quarterback. He was still really, really bad. But Tannehill ended up leading the Dolphins to one of the best moments in franchise history when we defeated the Patriots 34-33, and a famous Miami miracle happened when we lateraled the ball. I think it was from Danny Amendola to Kenyon Drake, and he ran and scored past Rob Gronkowski, who was for some reason sitting at safety, and we ended up winning the game with only 7 seconds left on the clock. But he over his final season, Tannehill threw for 1,979 yards, 17 scores to 9 interceptions. This ended up being his last season in a Dolphins jersey before he was traded with 1 year left on his deal, I believe. But he wasn't, once again, those were just average numbers. We knew he was average, and we didn't want to work with that continuously going forward. And we appointed new head coach Brian Flores. I'm pretty sure it was an executive decision between Brian Flores, owner Stephen Ross, and general manager Chris Greer to make the decision that Tannehill wasn't the guy for the Miami Dolphins moving forward. He was ended up traded to the Tennessee Titans before the 2019 season. But I think the deal was we sent Ryan Tannehill and a 6th, I want to say, and received a 4th in 2020 and a 7th in 2019. I believe that's what the deal was. But he was brought in to back up a struggling quarterback whom the Tennessee Titans had selected 2nd overall out of Oregon in 2015. When this trade happened, I said to myself, Tannehill was better than Marcus Mariota, and he should be starting. But it appeared head coach Mike Vrabel had already made up his mind. After a poor start to the season and a poor showing from Mariota in a Week 6 showdown with Denver, Mariota was inevitably replaced at halftime for Tannehill, and the latter didn't put up a necessarily good showing in his first game as a Tennessee Titan. But he was named starter for their Week 7 face-off with the Los Angeles Chargers. From then on, Tannehill would play out of this world and live up to the hype he had coming into the league in 2012. He ended up guiding the Titans to an impressive 9-7 record. I believe the Titans were 2-5, and Tannehill came in, and they went 9-7 after Tannehill came in, which is absolutely incredible. A wild card spot for the Tennessee outfit happened because of the record, and the Titans had to head to Foxborough and play the defending Super Bowl champions New England Patriots in their first playoff game. They ended up playing a great game. I watched the whole thing. It was fantastic. They ended up playing a fantastic game, spearheaded by the rushing dominance of Derrick Henry. And as they had a stingy display on defense, which held Brady and the Patriots offense at bay, with the game finishing with a pick 6 for the hands of Logan Ryan, former New England Patriot as well, no longer with the Tennessee Titans, currently a free agent. But the Nashville powerhouse ended up winning 20-13 and securing a spot in the divisional round where they would play an even more feared opponent. The Titans would have to face off against the number 1 seed Baltimore Ravens, who came into the playoffs on a first round bye and a super impressive 14-2 record. The Titans came into the game as massive underdogs, but would show why they deserved to be where they were. They ended up pounding the Ravens' defense with a relentless rushing game, with Derrick Henry and Ryan Tannehill carving up the defense whenever he got the chance to. Incredible display on offense. Derrick Henry was fantastic, and he was amazing throughout the playoffs. He's probably my favourite player to watch. He was probably the MVP of the playoffs. He was that good, and he helped win the game, where the Titans ended up beating the number 1 seed Baltimore Ravens and winning 28-12, and the 9-7 Tennessee Titans were on their way to the AFC Championship. They would play the number 2 seed Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC Championship game and would eventually fall to, in my opinion, the best player in the NFL, Patrick Mahomes, and the Chiefs ending their spectacular run from a bleak outlook at Week 6 to a phenomenal run to the AFC Championship game. But unfortunately, that was the end of the season, and Tannehill got offered a bumper new deal. I think it was 4 years, $72 million. It's a big deal for Ryan Tannehill, a huge contract. But however, Ryan Tannehill posted the best passer rating out of any QB in the NFL with an incredible 117.5 passer rating. And he also posted incredible stats for a quarterback who only played 11 games. He threw for 2,742 passing yards, 22 touchdowns to only 6 interceptions. And he also posted an amazing 70.3 pass completion percentage. Now let's go on to some of the awards that Tannehill won during his time in Tennessee in his last season. He was selected to his first Pro Bowl in 2019, which is an amazing honour to achieve, and it shows people are actually taking notice of how well he played. I was taking notice. Tannehill, in my opinion, the way he was playing, if the Titans had gone on to win the Super Bowl, you could have given him MVP votes. He was insane, Tannehill, and it was fantastic to see him do that well on the big stage. And he was also awarded the NFL's prestigious Comeback Player of the Year award for his efforts and effectively saving his career in Tennessee. Because if he'd have had a bad year this year, he'd have been a free agent this offseason, and I don't know who would have signed him, and he just probably would have been a nobody after this. But as a Miami Dolphins fan, I have a lot of respect for everything Ryan did during his time in Miami. And I have nothing but endless support for Tannehill and whatever the rest of his career holds. And that's it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. I probably might make a video this weekend. I'm not too sure, but if I don't make a video this weekend, it will be out on Monday. So yeah, make sure you check back in on Monday. And before you click off, I want to thank you guys so much for your time out of your day to watch this video. Make sure you go down and subscribe and like and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. And I'll be back soon with a brand new video. See you later, guys.